What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than I normally do, and what we're going to be doing is going over my top 5 rifles from my collection. I'm always having guys ask me about my gun collection. What is your favorite rifle? If you could recommend, one rifle to rule them all, what would it be? And some of those answers may differ than the guns that I have here today. These are just my top 5 guns in no particular order from my collection. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Now the first gun that I pulled out is my Arsenal SAM-7 SF. This is an AK-47 variant. This is a milled receiver. I absolutely love this gun. And some of the guns that we're going to be going over today are guns that you guys may have seen on the channel at some point. Some of them I definitely focus on a little bit more because I use them for testing parts, optics, things like that. But some of these guns you guys may not have seen for a little while. So the Arsenal SAM-7 SF, like I said, is a milled receiver, AK-47 variant. This thing is an absolute beast. Now, milled receiver AKs are a little bit heavier than your stamped AK, but the receiver is a little bit stronger as well. Now, some guys like milled, some guys like stamped, some guys like both. I personally like both. This is the only AK I have at the moment, but I definitely plan on picking up a stamped AK sometime in the near future. This gun is not stock. It's not very far off from stock. I really haven't changed a whole lot, but the SAM-7 SF variant is a folder, and it is a right side folder that is kind of unique amongst AKs. The release lever is up here in the receiver, so that is something that's pretty cool. Now, something that you want to keep in mind if you're looking at a SAM-7 SF, the stock is NATO length, it is not Warsaw length, so it is going to add a little bit of length to your stock compared to a lot of factory AK stocks out there. It's definitely something that I didn't like at first, but I have gotten used to it. Now, some of the upgrades that I've made on this gun from its factory configuration, first off is going to be the trigger. I went ahead and put an ALG AKT enhanced trigger in here. I do have an install video out on this, which is not on YouTube anymore because of YouTube's great new rules, but that video is posted up over on my channel at gunstreamer.com. There is a link below. Now, the next thing that we did was I got rid of the factory grip and the thumb safety, or the grip safety as some like to call it. This AK came with a safety not only on the receiver like a traditional AK, but it also came with a thumb safety, kind of like a Galil style, and it did have a saw style grip. It was a cool configuration and I did like it, but I wanted to take it off because I want my AKs to be similar. Now, this is the only AK I have at the moment, but I don't want to get used to running my AKs with a thumb safety, and that safety lever literally hung down right here. You can adjust it with your thumb. It definitely has its advantages, but I want all of my platforms to be similar, so I went ahead and did away with that and added a Magpul MOE Plus. Now, the MOE Plus grip is a rubberized texture. Some like that, some don't. I personally really like the MOE Plus grips. Now, the next thing that I did to this gun was take off the factory handguard, forend, whatever you want to call it, and put on this Midwest Industries. And here recently, I added the Midwest Industries top cover with a Burris Fastfire 3. I really like this setup with the red dot. It's a micro red dot, it's out of the way. It's just really a cool setup. So this is something that I really want to dive a little closer into in the near future. Now, the next gun that we have in the lineup is this Henry, and this is a lever action, obviously, chambered in 44 mag, 44 special. There's just something about a lever action that I love. When I go out and shoot lever actions, I don't want to say it makes me feel like a cowboy, old Western style, which it kind of does, but something is just so appealing to me personally about a lever action. I don't know what it is, I can't really put my finger on it, but this is definitely one of my favorite guns to shoot, and it being chambered in 44 Magnum makes for a really nice hunting package. Now, this one here is the Henry Allweather. It is meant to be pretty much corrosion, rust resistant, things of that nature. And we haven't done a full video or a full review on the Henry Allweather 44 mag, and I think we're creeping up to like the 300 or 350 round marker. So I think it is safe to say we will have a video out on this gun very soon. Now, the next gun that we're going to check out is one that is I would definitely consider it my go-to gun. If something were to happen, this is the gun that I would run downstairs and grab. But I do have quite a few other options. I mean, I have other guns that I would grab and trust my life to, but this one here is one that I just absolutely love. And this is my 14.5-inch BCM Recce. Now, I did buy this as a complete rifle from BCM. Not BCM directly, a local gun store, but you guys know what I mean. Now, a lot of people ask me, why didn't you go with the Recce 16, which is a 16-inch barrel over the 14.5 pinned and welded? And honestly, my answer to that is my gun store had this one sitting on a shelf, and I couldn't leave without it. Now, if I had to go back and do it again, would I go 16? Not necessarily. I really don't see the issue with a 14.5. I have had nothing but a great time with this rifle, and I love every bit of it. Now, this gun is stock for the most part. The only things we did upgrade, we did put a Geissele SDC trigger in there. They're super dynamic combat. I really like that. I did throw on a Magpul bad lever, which I really don't use this to charge the gun. It is more or less used for clearing stoppages. If I need to clear a stoppage, I could just pull my bolt back, hit that bad lever, and I'm good to go. But it is also nice if you want to use it to charge your gun. I don't always do that, but I do like having it there if I need to. I've just found it to be very helpful if you need to lock your bolt to the rear, clear a malfunction, something like that. Now, up on top of the gun, we are running a Trijicon MRO, and it is sitting on an American Defense QD mount. I really like this setup. I want to say I have around 400 or 500 rounds through this setup with this optic, and so far I really like it. Now, as far as backup sights, I am running, if I get it down there, some Midwest Industries flip-ups. They're all steel sights. They're built like a tank. That's one thing I really hate buying for AR-15s, especially if they're going to be like a go-to battle-ready type gun. I hate having to buy iron sights. Now for this, I sucked it up and bought some Midwest Industries sights. I think I got them used for like $100 to $120, something like that for the pair, so it really wasn't too bad of a price, but I hate dropping $100 to $200 on flip-up iron sights. I know it's something you need, so for certain rifles, I will definitely drop the money. For this rifle here, I figured I would spare no expense and build a badass battle rifle. Now, something that I forgot to point out on the rear, I am running a Geissele Super Airborne, I want to say it is, or I at least know it's an airborne something charging handle, and it says it right in front of me, airborne charging handle. Both sides can charge the gun, so that is something nice about that. This did come with a factory BCM charging handle, and that's typically what I buy if I'm building an AR. I'll buy a BCM charging handle, throw it in the gun. They tend to be my favorite, but this Geissele charging handle felt a little bit better than the BCM, so I went ahead and threw it on the gun. Now, as far as the sling, we're running a Blue Force Gear Vickers sling. This is the non-padded version. I like the padded version, but I also don't because it's so damn thick. So on most of my guns, I'm running a Blue Force Gear Vickers sling, and that is hooked up to a few QD sockets. I believe the QD mount for the rail up front comes with the gun, and I want to say there's a QD socket already in the BCM SOPMOD stock. Now, moving up front, we're running a Streamlight Pro Tac. I believe this is the rail mount 2. I have had nothing but good luck with these Streamlight Pro Tac or rail mount lights. I don't want to say like they're a surefire, but they're definitely quality lights. We have the pressure pad hooked into a cloud defensive light control system. This is really a killer setup, definitely one of my favorite light setups out of all of my guns. Now, the light is sitting on a BCM Scout mount. Keeps the light nice and tucked into the gun, very close to the rail. So all in all, this is one of my favorite setups. Now let's keep moving down the line. Next up is a gun you guys are definitely familiar with if you watch the channel, and that is the Volquartsen VM22. Now, this gun is built off of a 1022 type platform, but nothing on this gun is Ruger. So starting with the receiver to the bolt to the trigger to the barrel, all Volquartsen, and it is all top notch. Now, I've always liked 22 rifles, and I had this rifle laying out here. It's not part of the 5, but this is my first Ruger 1022 build. I really love this gun. The main purpose of me building this was to teach the kids to shoot, and this is a very lightweight setup. Even with the bipod on here, it weighs 5.2 pounds, so very, very light. We are running a Leupold VX2 with Leupold rings. Awesome setup, but it still does not compare to the Volquartsen. Now, if any of you guys have been lucky enough to run Volquartsen parts, especially triggers, you guys will know what I'm talking about when I say that I love this rifle. I just did a review on this optic. This is the Leupold VX Freedom 3-9x40, and it is a rimfire reticle scope, but this optic has really impressed me as well, and for the money, this is definitely one of the best rimfire scopes on the market. Now, back to the rifle. This does have a carbon fiber barrel. We do have the Volquartsen compensator on the end, which I've had some people say, why would you comp a 22? That's kind of silly. Well, these guns are pretty much made for precision type shooting. Guys that are very, very serious about their 22 rifles, and that is exactly why this gun is comped. Not saying that I am like some super serious competitive, target shooter with my 22. That's something I would like to get into, but that is exactly why Volquartsen makes a 22 comp. Now, all of these Volquartsen parts are sitting down in this Magpul stock. I really like the Magpul Hunter stock, but I did have to get a cheek riser. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass at first without the cheek riser, but this is easily becoming one of my favorite rifles. Now, last but not least, and this is something you guys are definitely familiar with if you watch the channel, the Benelli M4. Now, honestly, what more really needs to be said about this gun? This is one of my grail guns, and to have it here in my hands and to take it out to the range is seriously a pleasure. Now, the way I have this configured is somewhat factory. Some of the aftermarket parts I put on this gun are factory Benelli, while others are not. And we actually just did a video on this gun, so I'm not going to give you guys the complete parts list rundown. If you want to know more about that, click the link above. But I did just have this shotgun out at the range this past weekend, and let me tell you, this thing is more of a beast than it has ever been. Now, I know a lot of my viewers do have Benelli M4s. I've talked to a lot of you guys, so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this is one of my favorite long guns. But I think that's going to wrap it up on my top 5 rifles, long guns. I know a few of them were, rimfire, shotgun. It was kind of random, but these are definitely 5 of my favorites out of my collection. And if you have any questions on any of the guns or accessories that we talked about tonight, definitely leave that down in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.